Hi guys. Okay, so in this video I just wanted to talk about the treatment that had happened. So in my last video I told you how I had went to the emergency room and my heart rate by the time I got there was in the 160s, and I was able to meet with an electrophysiologist, and I'm so thankful, so thankful for Dr. Hummel, because he was just so thorough with all the questions that he asked me and when I'd experienced this stuff before. And he was just really thorough. So when I was at the hospital, I was there for about 24 hours. So I went and I had an echo done of my heart just to make sure things were okay. And I'm so fortunate that the structure of my heart was okay. They could see while I was getting the echo done that just like a brief movement of me, like I had to take a potassium supplement because my potassium was a little low. And when I sat up, like my heart rate jumped up and then it would go back down. So, I mean, when I was at the hospital, they could see that my heart rate would it was all over the place. No matter, like, I would turn and my heart rate would go up. So I had the echo done, and then he ordered me when I was able to leave the hospital that day, and he ordered for me to have a tilt table test done. So if you're not familiar with what the tilt table test is, oh my gosh, let me tell you, it's a real doozy. So it's where you're strapped to a table, strapped in, so in case you were to pass out, you're still safe. And then they kind of tilt you up at an angle, and they leave you there to see what your blood pressure and your heart rate and stuff does. So upon leaving the hospital, I was ordered to go get this tilt table test done, and they were going to send me a 30-day event monitor. So then over the course of the next 30 days, if something like this happened, I could get it on record, push it, whatever, they could look at it. So I got the tilt table test done, and when another electrophysiologist came in to read my test, he was just like, the people in there were like, oh, it looks like it's sinus tachycardia. And he was like, no, this looks more like atrial tachycardia. My baseline jumped up by, I think it was like 31 beats per minute, which means like when I was standing up, my heart rate jumped up by more than 30 beats per minute. It was really unpleasant. I would not want to go through that again. But so my instructions when I was leaving was, because I'm thin, he said, I should gain a few pounds, and I should drink, 2 to 3 liters of water a day, and I should increase my salt. And so I will say I wasn't quite pleased because I didn't really understand why any of that stuff. I mean, he said so I would hold fluid and I wouldn't pee out all the salt and stuff like that. At the time, I didn't really understand that what he was telling me was there's something wrong with your autonomic nervous system, and that's why, your heart rate goes up. My blood pressure did stay like about the same though, which is awesome, and I didn't pass out. So fast forward to that. So he said if things don't improve with that in 2 to 3 weeks, call us and come back. And I had the event monitor on for honestly about 2 weeks. I didn't keep it on for the full 30 days because it was really stressful for me to, like, is my heart rate going fast? Do I need to check it? Do I need to push the button? Is my heart fluttering? When do I need to push the button? So I kept it on for about 2 weeks before I was just like, I think they have enough information, and my doctor gave me permission to take it off and send it back. So it was just honestly, that thing beeped all the time. I was not getting sleep. It was kind of crazy. So I called, I said, hey, I've had these runs where in the middle of the night it's waking me up and my heart rate is in like the 120s, 130s, 150s, and it lasts for about an hour and a half, and then it like peaks, comes back down. So I set up an appointment to go back and see my electrophysiologist nurse practitioner, because I actually have an appointment to meet with my actual electrophysiologist on the 23rd or 27th of this month, one of the two, to, I believe, go over my results of my event monitor, stuff like that. So, sorry, I'm so thirsty. Oh, gee whiz. So when I went, this is how things have gotten interesting. This is why I decided I wanted to make these videos. So I went and I saw, mind you, in the meantime, for the last, since I was in the hospital here, I thought I had SVT, so I did all this research on SVT, and I'm like, all right, so what course treatment should be here. So before I got in to see my electrophysiologist nurse practitioner, I had like 4 episodes in less than a week, and I started feeling really lightheaded, and it lasted for about a week. And I was feeling really off balance, and my heart rate, my blood pressure were just doing weird things. So I ended up going to the emergency room just to make sure like I was okay, because I was starting to retain fluid in my feet and my legs. And I know it was because I'm not used to eating as much salt as I've been having, but it hurt a lot, and it was just like hurting me to walk. So I went to just go get checked out, and that's where I learned from the ER doctor that they were doing a workup on me to see if it's POTS that I have. So POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So basically, it's an autonomic disorder, which means my autonomic nervous system isn't doing what it's supposed to. It's just not doing what it's supposed to. So that's when I started doing a ton of research, where I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what does this mean for me? And I was really scared. So by the time I got to my appointment with the nurse practitioner, she just told me, I said, I learned from the ER doctor that you guys are doing a workup of POTS on me. What does that mean? And she was like, really what it means is it's just a branch. It's just under the dysautonomia. Autonomic nervous system disorder is what it is. It means it's not working right, which means, when your heart rate is supposed to be slow, it's going fast. And, it's just sending the wrong signals to me. So I just asked her what that meant, and I was open to everything that she was saying, because I told her that I'm not one for taking pills. I never have been. I've always just kind of like, let food be thy medicine, my medicine be thy food kind of thing. But I'm not opposed to it either. So she recommended that I continue upping my salt intake. I needed to have a high protein diet where I am eating 4 to 5 smaller meals throughout the day, which is awesome. I really like that. And it actually helps me, like, my tummy feel better. And I'm not, like, hungry throughout the day. And I'm drinking 2 Propels, and I don't like the sugar in it, per day. And I now have compression stockings, which really aren't that bad. I was really worried about that. What else? I think that's it. But what she said was, and this is where things are now interesting for me, is I just said, what can we do? Like, how do we fix it? Because I believe that if my nervous system and if everything was once working the way it was supposed to, why can't I heal? And why can't it work again? And what she said is, there is no cure. You're just going to have to learn to live with it. We're just going to have to find a way, like a treatment that's going to, basically it's going to mask my symptoms for me to just start continuing to live a day-to-day life. But that maybe I could just grow out of it too. Well, for me, that's not a sufficient answer. And so upon leaving the appointment, I decided I was going to do everything under the sun I can to find a solution to this problem, because things just don't stop working and your body doesn't just not get better. I mean, that's my personal philosophy. Some people might not agree with it, and if they don't, that's okay too. But I'm really on a mission to get myself better, because most days I can't drive myself to places I want to go. Some days I don't feel, good enough to get out of bed, except for to do my exercises, which that's another thing she said to do, start walking. And I'm doing, resistance training on my lower body, because that's going to help strengthen my lower body, so blood doesn't just like go down there, I guess is the way I understand it. What was I saying? God, seeing this happen. So when my brain gets foggy, I don't feel like myself. And, I keep having these weird bouts of dizziness or my blood pressure and heart rate. So I just have been on a mission. I've done so much research on, there's stories out there where people get better. They fully recover from autonomic dysfunction, in POTS and, everything else under that umbrella. There's ways that people get better. What I'm opposed to is never finding the root of it and being able to fix the root. I won't ever settle for just masking the symptoms and pretending like they're not there when they are, because I believe when you do that, it's just like, you know, if a cancer patient were to find out that they had cancer and they said, you know, it would be like them saying, you know, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that analogy, but I don't want to do that. So what I've done, my next steps in treatment now are going to be, because what she has told me to do now is not really working that well. I mean, I have some good days, like I've been able to leave the house and stuff, but tomorrow, March 2nd, I'm going to see a really, 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 really fantastic nutritionist in Toledo, Ohio. And I am really excited. He's one of the first doctors who has called me back and talked to me for about 40 minutes about like what's going on and how he thinks he could help. And he's just really, really committed to helping me find a plan to really see if there's any, you know, like chemicals in my body that are, you know, I'm reacting to, or food allergies and things like that, to kind of cover the bases inside, get that at an even playing field, and kind of work with some of the symptoms I'm having, find the underlying cause and really work on it. And then I'm keeping my fingers crossed and I'm saying all the prayers in the world. I found these amazing doctors in Georgia who have had such great success with treating and like helping these people recover from people who have autonomic dysfunction and POTS and all of that stuff. However, I'm working with my insurance company to hopefully get a gap extension so I can go see them and really do that. And they're a functional neurologist. So I did a ton of research on functional neurology, and that's definitely the route that I want to go. But if not, my other backup plan, if this is not the path that's for me, because I believe what is for me is not going to pass me, I'm going to vestibular therapy next week to help see if it's an inner ear thing that's, you know, that will help me with feeling lightheaded and the dizziness and stuff. And then if for whatever reason right now isn't an option for me to see the functional neurologist, I found another really great neurologist here in Columbus at The Ohio State University who I would go see. And he's going to be the first line of neurologists that I would see, and ask him if he's willing to go the route that I want to go, which is treating what is going on inside my body and do some reconditioning on my body and in my brain and stuff like that, because from everything that I've read, people are having really, really great success with healing the body, doing these different forms of rehabilitation. So that's, I'm hoping to get some really great answers and bring it back to people who are also dealing with this, because it's not fun and it's really impacted my life in a way that I did not want to do at 26, because I can't really concentrate for really that long. And my boyfriend is kind of assuming the role as like nurse, and I'm the patient sometimes, and I don't want that. So that's where I am right now. Tomorrow I go see the nutritionist, and I can, you know, I'll go see him, I think once every 2 weeks until we find out what's going to work for me. And hopefully, you know, I'll start feeling better there. And then once I submit everything to my insurance company, I pray I can go see those doctors in Georgia and really just embark on the journey of just healing myself and getting better that way. And I mean, I'll still go see the nurse practitioner, and I'll still follow up with my electrophysiologist, because, you know, I value their opinion, and I think that they have added a lot of value to my life, and I'm grateful for them. So I'll still continue to see what they say and kind of go from there. So I hope this has helped in some way, or in the future, I hope that this will help someone, because I promise I'm so committed to finding a solution that isn't just masking someone's symptoms for the rest of their life, that's, while I'm not opposed to taking medication, if I needed to take, medication and that was what had to happen in order for me to get better, I absolutely would. But I'm hoping and praying that I can just find the solution that's treating the underlying cause of this stuff and helping not only me get better and heal and go back to being an even better version of myself before I got sick, and really just help other people do that too. Because I see so many stories of where people are still very sick and they're passing out all the time and they can't work, they're just disabled. And I know that I don't want to get that far, so that's why I'm taking so much action now, and I've done hours and hours and hours and hours of research so that I can get better and I can help other people get better too with the resources that I end up finding. So that's all for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.